What did you see that you definitely weren't supposed to see? Grandma naked, repeatedly. My room is across the hall from the bathroom and I would do homework a lot with headphones on. I heard my grandma holler something to me from the bathroom. Took my headphones off and looked to the bathroom door right as she opened it to go to the guest bedroom. Turns out she was saying, "Don't look, naked grandma!" Solid mental scarring right there. Was working at a hotel during college and saw my lab partner get a room with the professor. Ooh, this is some spicy tea. About 5 years old, woke up to the snow finally starting to melt. Notice a girl asleep in the garden. Went and told my dad. He took one look and told me to go play in my room. Turns out, girl had been asleep in our front garden for about 2 weeks, buried and frozen under the snow. When I was a kid, I had to pull one of my ferrets out from under my parents' bed, and locked in his jaws was a bright red rubber dildo. My company's entire payroll on a spreadsheet. Someone left it on the printer. Use that info to get a way past due raise. Howdy everybody and welcome back to Ask EmKay. What felt like a useless piece of advice until you actually tried it? Once begun is half done. Can't say I've ever heard that one, but it does sound kinda nice. This too shall pass. On those days when I just feel like I can't take it, I think of that and I know tomorrow will be different. Someone once told me, tomorrow may not be better, but at least it'll be different. In a strange way, that too is comforting. My grandfather told me this and I never understood it until I had my own place. Always buy the cheap tools at first, and if you wear it out / break it, then you use it enough to justify getting a nicer, more expensive one. There's what you need, there's what you want, and there's what you can't afford. My dad says this all the time, and I never thought of it as useless, I just never used it. Now I have, and my money is far easier to manage. Putting cold water on freshly shaved skin will make it so you don't get ingrown hairs. Some of the best advice I've ever received. What part of your personality do you fake? Intelligence. I've learned how to make myself seem like I know what I'm doing. Don't have energy to fake stuff anymore. Am perpetually grumpy. I literally spend so much time on my own lately that I feel as though my whole personality is fake when I have to interact with others. My ability to perform small talk. I have absolutely no patience for it. I've got an entire customer service personality that's fake. I'm pretty sure everybody that works in customer service has built a new personality just so they can kinda block out the hatred they receive on a daily basis. Being outgoing. No, I don't want to go out and socialize. Yes, I will anyways. What's the harshest reality no one accepts? Some parents just don't love their children, and those parents deserve to go to hell. Sometimes you must accept the truth that there always will be idiots who will fuck it up for the rest of us. Not everyone will turn out to be a superstar or super successful in their lives. Beauty and money matter a lot. The world is nicer to rich and beautiful people. Hard work doesn't always pay off. Some people just can't be saved. You could give them every benefit in the world and they still could choose to throw it all away and you can't do anything about it. Very late, but sometimes you are the problem in a relationship, and if people keep on leaving you, it may well be your fault, even if you don't feel like it is. Serious. What is the harshest truth you've ever learned? Even if you treat someone really well and you both love each other, it doesn't always end like a Hollywood movie. Sometimes there are too many obstacles. You can do everything right, give something 100% effort, follow all the rules, and still fail. Being the hardest worker will not always equate to you being the one rewarded or recognized for accomplishments. It doesn't matter how much you love someone, one day you will hurt them, and one day they will hurt you. Just hopefully not with a knife. Don't fall in love with potential. That the world doesn't wait for you to be okay. You just gotta learn to pick yourself up and get better. All those are kind of downers. They kind of all just bum me out. You wake up. It's 2050. What do you Google first? I'd Google things you wouldn't believe were considered okay to say 30 years ago. Time Travelers 2020. I promise you, you won't find a Google result about you. How much longer until the Winds of Winter release date is announced? Is Elizabeth II still alive? God, if she somehow makes it that far. Ugh. My name. Gotta find out if there was a major disturbance over my disappearance or if nobody actually noticed. Plot twist, Google doesn't exist anymore. It's all meta, baby. Turns on incognito mode. Oh yeah. You time travel and then, yeah, let's just crank one out real quick. Gross. People who don't sleep naked. Why? On the slight possibility somebody gets into my room and then they see my little hang on. No, I didn't mean small. I have a cat that would definitely bite my dick. In case of fire, I don't want to evacuate naked. It just feels weird to me to do so. I feel the same way. Don't worry. Guys in the barracks don't appreciate it. It's just guys being dudes. Come on. Can't risk my falling out of bed. You don't want the monster to grab it. Or do you? I share with people. Don't fancy walking to the toilet in the middle of the night, stark bollock naked, and my housemates potentially ogling my mini baguette. What is the scariest thing you've ever seen while driving at night? An asshole overtaking a petrol tanker around a blind corner, coming my way. Scared the out of me. I slammed the brakes once because I saw a deer in my peripheral vision. Upon closer inspection, it was a mounted deer head on a stick in the middle of the woods. Slammed the gas after I realized that. Frogs. Everywhere. Like hundreds of frogs all over the road. A dead butchered horse laying in the road. Someone had completely skinned and butchered a horse, took the choice pieces of meat, and just dumped it on the highway. I almost crashed into it. A lonely abandoned shack with a bunch of arrows pointing to it, saying, "Come in." 3 a.m. on a lonely road, and I was the passenger. An old man only wearing a bra, panties, and high heels was casually walking down the road. My friend who was driving didn't believe me and went back around. Sure enough, he saw him and we were like, what the f? What's the dumbest thing you actually believed? That WD-40 meant windows down 40 miles per hour. Someone told me that in middle school as a joke and I took it literally until I was a senior. That mini giraffes, also known as pygmy or dwarf giraffes, were a real creature and you could be placed on a waiting list to receive one. This was probably my first foray into having my identity stolen as a teenager. Someone convinced me for like 5 seconds that unicorns were real. They just lost their horns through evolution and now they are plain old horses. I was convinced that Greeks still worshipped Zeus and other gods for a while after I heard the word Greek Orthodox Church as a kid. I thought that teachers lived at school. Wait, they don't? I used to think that people exclusively wore hats if they were bald, because that's why my dad wore a hat. That reindeer wasn't an actual animal, but specifically a mythical animal that Santa Claus used. I believed this until I was 23 or so when I saw some nature documentary talking about reindeer. I was like, what? What is the best animated movie and why? Oh boy, let's see some wrong opinions. Grave of the Fireflies. Never would have thought that an animated movie could make me cry like a little bitch. The Secret of Nim. Stunning visuals, amazing score, great voice acting, and a story that's a lot more interesting than the book it's based on. Not sure if anyone said this, but The Last Unicorn. Everything from the animation to the characters is stellar, and I don't think I've ever watched an animated movie that's made me feel the same way as The Last Unicorn does. Definitely The Road to El Dorado. Visually beautiful, music by Elton John, funny. I could rewatch that movie so many times. I'd say the original Ghost in the Shell. Storytelling, incredibly artistic hand-drawn scenes, music that I can recall to this day. It was pretty groundbreaking artistically and ideologically for 1995. What is not a bullet you dodged, but a huge tactical nuke you dodged? When driving in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan last summer, a truck full of logs flipped and barreled straight into my car, completely demolished the car. Someone else had to come open the door for me after the fact because they were all pinned shut by logs. I walked out of there without a scratch on my body. They might think they're safe, but they're actually now in a Final Destination movie. My wife dragged my to the dermatologist for a cyst I've had for years. While there, the doc noticed a mole on my ankle that he didn't like. Turned out to be melanoma. Would have never gone if my wife didn't force me. I was engaged to someone, but then came to my senses and broke it off. 9 months later, I found out she got married to someone else. Then about 1 year after that, she killed her husband. Didn't go to a Halloween party because I got a bad feeling. Found out years later, 5 girls were waiting for me so they could pummel me to the ground, all because I was friends with one of the girls' boyfriends at one point and he had admitted he found me attractive. Few years ago, I was in a small fender bender. Someone merged into my lane with me in it and smashed my driver's side door and their passenger door together. I had pulled my arm in from having it hanging out the window about 15 seconds before that happened. Would have most likely had my arm ripped off. The second floor of the house I was renting collapsed a month after I moved out. ETA. Apparently a water pipe sprung a leak shortly after we left. We weren't in any trouble. What's the best Wi-Fi my name you've seen. Router, I hardly know her, was my all-time favorite. Crack Shack, which wasn't exactly creative, but we later found out that the owners were arrested for selling drugs. Edit, no, it was not a restaurant. We don't have a restaurant chain named Crack Shack in my state. My younger brother set his mobile hotspot to hot singles in your area, and I'm never gonna get over it. We're not allowed to have our own routers on campus, so I named mine AT&T Mobile Hotspot. Rebellious Amish Family. Alright, that one is a pretty solid name. My dad's a huge fan of The Matrix and calls every router we've ever had the Nebuchadnezzar. My favorite is, it's on the back of the router. Edit, on the back of the router it would say, ask my name for password. What's a book everyone should read at least once in their lives? Surprised I haven't seen it here already, so I'll add it. The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. In Slaughterhouse 5, Vonnegut said it could teach everything that we needed to know about life, except that wasn't enough anymore. I messed that up. You can yell at me. I can't speak Russian. I'm sorry. The Phantom Toll Booth. That's called Cell Phone Companies Charging You Hidden Fees. Johnny's Got His Gun. It's so intense, but it's so good. Metallica's song 1 is based off this book. Guy has his arms and legs blown off, goes blind and deaf, and is left to live like that. I only read it once, but it's forever ingrained into my memory. It hits you like a freight train. All quiet on the Western Front. Everyone should have to reckon with the reality of what war actually means. Night by Elie Wiesel. It is absolutely heart-wrecking, and I hated every moment of reading it, which is exactly the effect it's supposed to have. The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Such a great book. Matilda or Witches by Roald Dahl. For me, I'm stupid and I can't read, so I'll just watch the movies. What popular saying is actually bullshit? Hard work never killed anyone. It doesn't matter who started it. Of course it f***ing does. Even legally, the concept of who did what first is recognized as vital. Sleep like a baby. It implies that babies sleep really well. My second is 4 days old. I can confirm babies don't sleep well. If you tell me the truth, you won't get in trouble. Now you see, this rule does not hold up in court. Don't try it. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can, just the owner is a stubborn old bag. What goes around comes around. I've seen so many good, honest people get screwed over by toxic, immoral people who never get their comeuppance. The concept of karma is bullshit. This is gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you. Lies! Opposites attract. They don't. Birds of a feather flock together, on the other hand, is usually true for relationships. If people came with a warning tag, what would yours be? Incredibly stupid. Explain things slowly. Object appears cooler than it actually is. Tolerable only in small doses. Poor impulse control. If you can read this, you are too close. But in reality, big letters. I think they meant to say really big letters, but I got the point anyway. Warning, choking hazard, small parts. As is, all sales final. Caution, hard to motivate. Interests may change randomly. Mental stability not guaranteed. Redditors with thin walls. What have you heard in your apartment? My old neighbor was a cam girl, and I could hear absolutely everything she said in every single session for a good 4 months. Pretty much learned the names of her clients. I work from home, and it was always a gamble whenever I had to meet with someone virtually. I once heard a former roommate laughing with his then girlfriend about how they're f***ing me over on money. Turned out they were taking my utility portion and buying various games and alcohol. F*** you, man. If you don't like spaghetti, then you don't like me. God, what a conversation to listen in on. My downstairs neighbors are a couple with a 1-year-old boy. The baby's room is right under mine. They speak so sweetly to him, I'm not even mad that I can hear them so clearly. One morning, the dad went in to get the baby out of bed, and I hear him go, "Can you say daddy? Can you say daddy?" And in the tiniest little voice I heard, "Daddy?" My heart melted. And if I find out any of you saved that little voice clip, I will find you. I once heard an argument that went a little like this. Stop treating me like I'm stupid. You asked if seahorses were mammals, Jessica. They give live birth. My upstairs neighbors take turns zapping each other with a stun gun, hitting the floor, groaning in pain, and then laughing like Beavis and Butthead. Gina, I love you. Gina, no. Gina, damn it, put the knife down. At this point, both the apartments adjoining to Gina's called the police. Gina's husband decided to spend the night elsewhere. My male neighbor from India belting out Hello by Adele at the top of his lungs. It was magical. And on that note, we've come to the end of today's video. One last time, my name's been Brandon, and I will see you in another video.